Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Saturday evening, December 7, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you guys utilize the progress bar at the bottom of the video to skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most. You know that the videos over here at Weather Jamaica are very long. You can also utilize the timestamps right here, showing the titles of the points in the video. They are located in the comment section as well as the video description. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the has been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so as usual, we're going to be looking at the next 7 days in terms of what the Euro and the GFS supercomputer models are showing. Keep your eyes peeled right here and focused at the timestamp at the top. We're just going to be going out to the next 168 hours. And we're going to be keeping our attention right here across the Caribbean. For reference, we have Jamaica right here, already getting in on some of the moisture, all courtesy of the trough that was induced by that frontal system. And we see the moisture is represented by what we see on the key on the right, the reds, the oranges, the yellows, the greens all the way down. All of this represents inches of rainfall. You know, the greens 1 inch all the way up to 5 inches of rainfall. The darker the green gets, the yellows into the oranges 6 to 12 inches, and the reds we're talking about 16 to 30 inches of rainfall. But we're not gonna be getting this at all. Excuse me. Alright, so let us see exactly what unfolds. So heading into Sunday, we still see that there's going to be some amount of greens that represent rainfall plaguing portions of especially northeastern parishes in Jamaica. And we see that there's going to be a difference as we head into Monday. Definitely less rainfall. We see more white that represent more in the way of sunshine, if not some cloud cover for sure. Tuesday is showing something similar. Wednesday is showing something similar, as well as Thursday into Friday, Saturday, and we're gonna be stopping right here at Saturday, December 14. And what do we see? Not much taking place, but we see that we get a good week of mostly sunshine. We're talking about Monday to Friday, but apparently the rainfall is returning as we head into Saturday. So there's going to be a pattern shift after Sunday, more of a drier pattern with more of an easterly kind of flow across the island. And then by Saturday we see it's starting to come back more so from the northeast. You can see the lines of equal pressure, the isobars. So definitely more so some rainfall across northeastern parishes. We know those are the areas that are normally favored during the dry season for sure. And as usual, we see the GFS basically mimicking what the Euro was showing. Wet on Sunday for northeastern Jamaica, but Monday starting to show more whites that represent sunshine. Tuesday similar, Wednesday similar, Thursday into Friday, and then we see Saturday we start to get in on some rainfall across the northeast again. We see the isobars coming down from the northeast, so get ready for some weekend rainfall after a whole week of sunny weather for sure. And as it relates to the accumulated precipitation forecast over the next 7 days, clearly this rainfall that northeastern Jamaica is going to be getting is for tomorrow as well as next Saturday, because Monday to Friday definitely going to be dry. We see the reds, the purples, the pinks that represents what 1 inch all the way up to maybe 4 inches of rainfall still to come for a section of St. Mary, Portland. But we also see that there's going to be a lot of rainfall still to come for a section of Belize, Guatemala, northern Honduras, eastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica, section of northwestern Panama, still going to be getting a lot of rainfall. Even portion of eastern Cuba, northern Haiti and the Dominican Republic. And we see that there's going to be a lot of rainfall out to sea as well. Look at all of this rainfall to the east of Trinidad and Tobago. We also see a lot of rainfall right here to the northeast of the Caribbean. Very interesting. Let us see if the accumulated precipitation for the GFS is showing something similar. And yes, we do see something similar. Lots of rainfall to the east of Trinidad, lots of rainfall across the northern portion of the North Atlantic. We see rainfall in store for a portion of eastern Cuba, as well as northern Haiti, northern Hispaniola, northern Dominican Republic, sections of Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, eastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica as well. That's where the most in the way of rainfall is going to be over the next 7 days. Excuse me. And if we take a look at the accumulated precipitation over the next 7 days from the Euro model, still showing all the way up into the purples, at least 194 millimeters of rainfall still to come. As I've stated before, most of this rainfall will be coming within the next 24 hours. We're talking about Sunday, and then we're getting into a drier pattern as we head into Monday all the way through to Friday. Then by Saturday now, we start to get into more of this same kind of weather pattern, with the northeasterly flow bringing rainfall to section of St. Anne, St. Mary, as well as Portland, some of which can definitely spill into section of some southern parishes. And we see that the GFS is definitely in consensus with what the Euro was showing, while the GFS is more reserved with rainfall totals all the way up to 81 millimeters of rainfall. Either way, that's still too much, especially with the already saturated ground. If we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see the frontal system right here, represented by the blue spike lines all the way down into portion of the Bahamas, northwestern Cuba. You can see the broken orange lines right here stretching all the way down to portion of Hispaniola associated with a trough. Another trough right here to the northwest of the Cabo Verde Island. And we see the ridge of high pressure up in here that we know is responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can definitely make out all of these entities. The clouds associated with the trough still plaguing portion of northern Hispaniola, as well as the clouds associated with the frontal system affecting portions of the northern Bahamas as well. And we can even make out the flow of the clouds, the low level clouds that is from east-west all across the Caribbean, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure sending all of those clouds to that direction. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Sunday, December 7, 2024. It was stated that rain was in the forecast for parts of northern Jamaica last night into Saturday morning, and that some of this rainfall would have also spilled into sections of some southern parishes, especially during the afternoon hours. And in northern Jamaica, we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, while southern parishes, we're talking about Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. And what ended up happening? As early as 4:20 a.m., the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted right here on our Twitter page of Weather Jamaica, and I'd like for you to keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page of Weather Jamaica, but they're also made on our Instagram page of Weather.Jamaica, on our TikTok page of Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page of Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can definitely see the greens into the yellows that we know represent some moderate to some slightly heavy rainfall. That was definitely plaguing portion of northern Jamaica. We're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, section of Portland, and then some of this spilled into section of some southern parishes too. My area in St. Thomas got the early morning rainfall for sure. Section of Kingston and St. Andrew, as well as section of St. Catherine, and Clarendon got in on some of the morning rainfall as well. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images that were posted at around 9:06 a.m., we can definitely see the clouds. And we see the direction in which they're coming from, more so from the northeast. That's that northeasterly flow, definitely bring a lot of clouds into Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, and we see some of these clouds are spilling into section of northern Clarendon, section of Manchester, St. Elizabeth as well. Definitely getting in on some decent rainfall around that time as well. And we definitely have the visible satellite images showing us what took place during the afternoon before the sun went down. we can see that we're still getting in on that moist northeasterly flow, still bringing some clouds and rainfall to Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, maybe spilling into St. James. Not seeing much happening on the south coast at all. Just some dots of clouds, maybe some partly cloudy skies on the south coast. So I guess the forecast that the models were showing, well, the GFS at that was showing for this afternoon, definitely verified. Excuse me. Little to no rainfall at all on the south coast. If we also take a look at the infrared close-up satellite images, we can even see the high cloud tops being sheared off towards the northeast. That's that upper level wind shear. You can see it all pushing all across the island from west southwest to east northeast. Can't even make out that low level flow because it's definitely in convergence with the upper level flow, as we can see there. But taking a look at the crossroads camp today, we can definitely make out that at around 2:57 p.m. definitely fair for the most part across the carpet area, except for some cloudy conditions blocking out the sun right there at the foot of the hill in northern St. Andrew. But we can see the sunshine up into the top part of the hill right there. We can also see the sunshine, bright sunshine, across crossroads right here. If we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the CIMH, that's the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does paint quite a picture for we had the rainfall from last night into this morning. Most of this rainfall is basically showing us what we got this morning for sure, with the rainfall that spilled into section of some southern parishes. And we saw that it's also accumulating the rainfall that was received all day today on the north coast as well. If we take a look at the comments to confirm what was predicted, we have Melisses Chambers 2427 stating we're seeing rain here in eastern St. Catherine 2 from last night. We also have Cassandra Sinclair Creative stating 7041 stating in Bounty Hall, Trelawney, it's raining right now, northern Trelawney. We have Pat Dawson 7686 stating raining in Montego Bay from early this morning. We also have another comment from Anthony Taylor F2X stating heavy winds and rain in St. Elizabeth. Even on our Instagram, our Twitter page, where the comments coming in, Ricardo James stating, yeah, heavy downpour woke me up. Jomar Park stating, heavy rain now in northern Clarendon. Andre, the rain need for Guan, man. Sasha K. Morrison, it's raining cats and dogs outside area, Franklin Town. Even on our Facebook page, we had Sylvia Bando stating rain in our area in St. Anne. And we also have on our Instagram page one and only underscore Mel J stating just dewing in South Manchester. That indeed confirms the rainfall that was predicted, but it was mainly happening on the north coast, especially last night into this morning. If we take a look at the very latest still image, let us see what's happening right now from the Weather Nerds website. We can see the latest image just came out at 23:35 UTC. So this just came out at 6:35 p.m. So 9 minutes ago, considering that is 6:44 p.m. right now. Not seeing much of anything happening across the island. Right now, we can see most of these milky white clouds right here, but we know that has to do with the upper level wind shear being pushed off towards the northeast. And we know those high cloud tops are shearing off. Those high cirrus clouds, nothing within those clouds at all in terms of rainfall. We wish we had the Cube and Doppler radar image updated like yesterday. But it is showing all the way up to 5:20 p.m. at least. That's not bad. And we can see that we're getting a string of moisture stretching all the way from the equidistance right there from eastern Cuba all the way down into portion of Portland. And section of Portland could possibly be getting in on some amount of rainfall as we speak, even although we can't really make it out on the infrared. I think I can see some of it pushing down and streaking towards the southwest. So maybe section of Portland getting in on some of the rainfall right now. If you live in Portland, confirm for me, let me know. Taking a look at the Guantanamo Bay Cuban Naval Radar imagery. Let us reload these images so we have the latest. Alright, so is it gonna animate? Alright, there we go. We can see the blues into the green. They represent some light moderate rainfall pushing in from northeast to southwest. Definitely affecting section of Portland as we speak right there, the last frame. If we take a look at the Cayman radar, let's reload these images so that we have the very latest. Alright, all we're seeing is just some band of rainfall right here to the far south of Grand Cayman, to the southwest of Jamaica. Nothing significant taking place. Taking a look at the Flatbridge camera, not seeing much of anything happening in terms of bad weather. The rear Cobra definitely looks a bit murky, but we see people in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing bad weather-wise taking place tonight at all. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams to show us all the live long day for free, from Crossroads to Halfway Tree to Barbican, the Kingston Harbor, the Panoramic City View. So if I were you, I'd definitely subscribe so that I don't miss out, just in case they install a camera near you. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see we have 25 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Sunday, temperature should dip down to about 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Alright, quite an interesting temperature forecast. This map from the GFS is showing 18Z on Sunday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Sunday. And look at all of the cooler than average temperatures, reaching all the way from northern section of North Atlantic all the way down into Central America. We're talking about the Cayman Islands, Cuba. Section of Jamaica could definitely get in on some of the action too. So cooler than average temperatures are in the forecast. We see the light shades of blues, and it definitely could be cooler than that. And we know the average temperatures for the month of December across Jamaica are around 87 degrees Fahrenheit. When calculated, 87 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 30.6 degrees Celsius. So you should be receiving 30.6 degrees Celsius or less than that for sure. I'm talking about anywhere from maybe 27 all the way up to 30, especially if you live in Manchester, could definitely feel cooler than that. And if you live on the north coast, it could definitely feel cooler than that for sure. But most southern parishes definitely going to be feeling the 30 degrees Celsius, and if that's a bit too hot for you, it could definitely be exacerbated by the fact that there are going to be some amount of power outages in terms of outage maintenance taking place, all courtesy of JPS. We have outage maintenance done for tomorrow between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. for Inverness, Buki, Clarksonville, I hope I'm not butchering these names, Eccleston, Clydesdale, all in the parish of St. Anne. So if you live in those areas, or if you work in those areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in those areas, let them know that a power outage is coming their way. Tell them to get that laundry done tonight. Tell them to get the ironing done from tonight or from early. We also have maintenance outage advisories for section of St. Elizabeth for Sunday as well. Anytime from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for Watchwell, Newcomb Valley, Beacon, Lewistown, Barbary Hall, Horatee, Vineyard, Arlington, Brucefield, Stonefield, Byberry, Spice Grove, Fullerswood, Black River Town. So if you live in those areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in those areas, let them know that a power outage is coming their way. And finally, we have maintenance outage advisory on Sunday for Temple Hall to Lawrence Tavern and environment or surrounding environments in St. Andrew between 8:15 a.m. and 6 p.m. So let those people know what's coming their way. We all know regarding ways to beat the heat. Try your very best to dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions, and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And always keep hydrated. Put away the sugary drinks. Drink water instead. Alright, let's just take a look at the dry air map. The dry air is represented by what we see on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, the whites within those reds. And we see that the dry air is stretching all the way from Africa all the way across the Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico. Lots of dry air, but we see some moist air right in here, stretching from northeast to southwest into eastern Cuba, Hispaniola, Jamaica, and all the way down into Honduras, all courtesy of the frontal system and the trough that has induced definitely moistening our atmosphere, which explains the rainfall. And we're going to be getting at least one more day of this before it's all said and done. And we see the actual Saharan dust now. We still see the browns represent the Saharan dust, still plaguing the waters of the main development region. We see North America, the Bahamas, the Caribbean, South America, Central America, and Jamaica right here, all in the clear, no Saharan dust affecting us. And we're glad that we're not seeing that vigorous of a plume, that's represented by the dark shades of brown that can cause very hazy skies, not to mention trigger somewhat of respiratory illnesses in some people, asthma, sinusitis, you name it. Excuse me. Alright, taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow. We see that for Sunday, we still have the highest wave heights to the far south of the island of the purples, up to 2.4 meter wave heights, as we can see by the key on the bottom right. The waters in and around Jamaica seem to be getting 1.7 meter wave heights on the north coast, 1.5 meter wave heights on the south coast. And we see that's because the winds are going to be strong, coming in from the northeast for sure. We see the greens into the yellows represent, we're talking about 15 all the way up to maybe 25 knot winds for sure. We see the winds across the eastern Caribbean coming in from the east. And then right here, when it's passing to the south of Hispaniola, starting to dip a bit southward into portions of Nicaragua right there. And we see the wind stretching all the way across the Bahamas into Cuba, the Cayman Islands, as well as into Belize right there. But regarding the close-up of Jamaica, we can definitely see the northeasterly flow that's going to be plaguing the island tomorrow. So some of these winds could definitely be gusty for sure. Tonight into tomorrow, we're talking about 15 to 25, maybe even gusting to 30 knot winds. And we also see that the least amount of winds are still going to be across the southern portion of the island. So who knows, we might just get in on some afternoon, daytime heating, rainfall. But clearly, anything that comes off of the sea is going to be continuously bringing rainfall to especially northern Jamaica. We're talking especially about St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland right here. And some of this could definitely spill into section of some southern parishes. And we see the upper level winds coming in from the west for tomorrow. So we saw it coming more so from the west southwest. Now it's going to be coming more so from the west. So the thing that takes place could bring overcast skies to section of some central and eastern parishes. Alright. Excuse me. Alright, so let us take a look at the rainfall forecast. We can see that in terms of the rainfall, not much change in northern Jamaica from St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, spilling into maybe a section of Kingston, St. Andrews, St. Thomas. This is valid for 6 a.m. on Sunday, and we see that on both the Euro and the GFS malls. St. Anne not so much on the GFS, but the other areas sure. Skipping it out to about 10 a.m. Still seeing the same areas that the Euro was showing for 6 a.m. Still getting plagued, especially right there. Eastern Portland, Eastern St. Thomas, the greens, yellows, oranges. That's a lot of rainfall, if that actually verifies. The GFS a bit more reserved with the rainfall for sure on 10 a.m. Skipping ahead now to about 3 p.m. Still seeing rainfall plaguing northeastern parishes. Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne. And we see the Euro starting to incorporate section of Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon for the afternoon. It makes sense because that's where the air is going to be piling up. The daytime heating could take place, but the GFS is not that impressed with the southern parishes thing. It's more so for northeastern parishes, Portland, St. Mary, and the St. Anne. Not so much a bit of St. Elizabeth with the slight shades of blue, but not so much Manchester or Clarendon at all. We'll see exactly what happens. We'll see if some of it spills into section of Kingston, St. Andrew, as well as St. Thomas too. Excuse me. Then we see that by 8 p.m. now, we still see not much change. Most of the rainfall still plaguing more so northeastern parishes, St. Mary, St. Anne, especially Portland, still going to be getting on more rainfall. And we see the accumulated precipitation forecast map still in consensus that there's going to be a lot of rainfall still to come. But remember, this is just the last day of it, because after Sunday, it's going to be dry times, Monday all the way through to Friday. Well, courtesy of a pattern change. Then we see that by around Saturday of next week, the rainfall should return. But enjoy the rainfall while it lasts. This is for the next 24 hours, up to at least 2.93 inches according to the Euromodel GFS. A bit more reserved, up to 1.36 inches. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, we'll take it. We're about to begin our dry season, and this is our first dry month of the year, well, of the new year, considering that we're wrapping up this year now. So December is the beginning of our dry season. In Kingston, we usually receive up to 25 millimeters of rainfall. That's about 1 inch of rainfall. In Montego Bay, we usually receive up to 4 inches, close to 4 inches. We're talking about maybe 90 millimeters of rainfall. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish receives in terms of rainfall for the year, you can visit this website right here, that's weatherandclimate.com, and you can use this nice little graphic that converts the rainfall from inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have some low-level patches of clouds pushing from east to west. Some of these clouds definitely have some rainfall within them, plaguing the Leeward and the Windward Islands. We can also see the flow of these clouds pushing all the way into Central America as well. We can also see the clouds associated with the trough, as well as the frontal systems right here, stretching all the way down into the Bahamas, Eastern Cuba, Northern Hispaniola, Jamaica, as well as down into Central America. Lots of clouds and rainfall taking place still. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, let us see what's happening over there. Alright, we can definitely make out some rainfall in and around Dominica, Guadeloupe, St. John's. We're talking about Antigua and Barbuda, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, the US and British Virgin Islands getting in on some of the action too. Loading this image from after 1 today, we can see rainfall pushing in from the east, definitely affected portion of the Leeward Islands for the most part. Taking a look right here on the Barbados radar, we can see some rainfall passing to the south of Barbados, but some of this could definitely affect land, especially southern Barbados. We can see some rainfall coming in from the east, nice rain bands coming into section of Martinique later on this evening. We can also see some rainfall right here to the east of St. Lucia, some rainfall coming into the Grenadine Islands as we speak. Not much across Grenada right now, but it could happen later on. We can also see Tobago getting in on some of the action right there. Not seeing much happening across Trinidad though. And if we take a look at the weather view of Doppler radar images, we can see that rainfall that's right there affecting portion of southeastern Belize, section of northern Honduras. You can also see some rainfall hit or miss shores, especially passing to the north of the ABC Islands right there. And if we take a look at where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, we can definitely see this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS, showing that the most in the way of rainfall should be across Honduras, southern Belize, Guatemala, section of eastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, northeastern Jamaica, far eastern end of Cuba, northern Haiti, northern Dominican Republic, section of eastern Puerto Rico, section of the Leeward Islands. We're talking about the US and British Virgin Islands, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, St. Bart, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Barbados. We can also see some rainfall, maybe even spilling into section of Trinidad and Tobago. Scrolling down, we can also see rainfall into French Guiana, coastal areas of Suriname and Guyana, and we see some rainfall into section of Colombia as well. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.